Okay, I don't know where we're at now. I guess sometimes it's at the end of a session for classes, and I had a student who was trying to get a hold of me. So I'm going to remember where I was at. Okay, right here. Cutting up green bell peppers. I don't know if I was saying anything before that, but it probably was not important because I cannot remember it. Okay. So, green bell peppers, red bell peppers. Oh, I know what I was saying. Green bell peppers get at least a little more bitter flavor, possibly. Again, you would have to check with somebody who's actually a trained culinary expert, not myself. Or you could check the Google. Yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be funny. Okay, red vinegar, red wine vinegar. So we're going to take this, and we're just going to splash some of this on here. No rhyme or reason, a couple tablespoons. We are going to take some pepper, and we are going to sprinkle on here, and we're going to take some salt. And we're going to sprinkle on here. So again, no measurements, just it's really to taste what you like and what your family likes. So it's just to taste. So red wine vinegar, salt, pepper with the onions and the bell peppers. You don't have to use colored bell peppers. Whatever bell peppers you have is totally perfect. So I need a tester. Again, remember what I said, you don't taste your own food because of course you're going to like it because you made it. Unless it's literally horrible. And in that case, just be the one that says, yeah, that's horrible. Okay, so I always take my testers to my family because they're the ones that are eating it. Then they can tell me if they need more salt, pepper, or red vinegar wine. Okay, I got the, tastes perfect. So we'll go with that. Really nice because coupled with the hot dogs and the potatoes, so you've got soft, and then this is nice and crunchy and gives it a really nice fresh flavor. So it's really good. So we're done with that. So we're just gonna set this over here. The only other thing then that we're doing for this evening is we are boiling our potatoes. And we're going to cook our hot dogs, and then we're going to make some mashed potatoes, and then we're going to go from there. So it's really that simple and that straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and get the water going to a rolling boil for the potatoes. Like I said, we've got turkey dogs for one set of the family and veggie dogs for the other set, so you want to have two because you don't really want to cook veggie dogs in turkey dog water. That would just be wrong. So, we'll get those going. But like I said, in addition to whatever you put here, you could put the little fried noodles, you could put raisins, you can put chilies, you can do just about anything you want. I guess these are just being made the way that we like them, and for our eating them, the different ones that we fell in love with in Brazil. So, we'll get these going. Another one that's awesome, which I don't remember if I'm saying the word right, is pão queijo. So it's these little cheese bites and dough, and it's got cheese in it. Oh my gosh. I think when our oldest daughter was in Brazil, the last time that she went, I think that she probably lived on pão queijo and mango and papaya and beans and rice because she's a vegetarian also. So we've got our colander here so we can do our potatoes. And that's about it. Hopefully everybody's doing well. In light of everything and all the crazy that's going on, it's kind of good for us to connect this way. I'm actually, out of some of the people that are watching these, I'm totally surprised. So Grandma Torino, totally awesome. That I'm loving that you're watching it. They're in New York, and thoughts go out to because that's an area that's being really hard hit right now. You know, I love that the Berenigs are watching it, and they're in Germany. They live in a very small community. They're totally good. You know, so you just go down the list. I'm kind of surprised at some of the people who say, oh, that was a really cool idea. I'm going to make that for dinner tonight. Okay, more power to you. That's kind of the goal, is to spend some time with people, even though it's virtual, and to be able to maybe pass on some different food ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about before. So we're going to be good to go here. So again, this meal is very, very simple. Sometimes it's nice to just have a quiet evening meal, and you know, something that's simple. Because sometimes it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to cook dinner tonight. I did see on the Bon Appetit website today that they give you a list of different foods that you need to prepare in your kitchen that is good for a week's worth of meals. And it takes about 2 to 3 hours. I love how they always say it takes 2 or 3 hours, because they say, all right, we've got all this stuff chopped up, and then they start preparing it, and you're like, wait, I still have to chop it all up, and it turns, so, you know, but it is worthwhile to look at. That's a, you know, there's a lot of good ideas out there to make meal plans. In the normal world, not in our new normal world, I usually just kind of, we have staples around the house, but I every day kind of say, okay, this is what sounds good to me, and then I get the stuff that I need and I make that meal. Now, which might be a good thing for me, is starting to think, okay, I'm making mashed potatoes tonight. What could I use them for tomorrow? And sort of thinking ahead. But unfortunately, I'm not really good at that when it comes to cooking. So, for those of you who, yes, I had a couple of comments on my sexy apron. Viva Las Vegas. Okay, so potatoes going. We'll get out our hand mixer now that I know what it's properly called. And so some of the things that we're going to be making this week, I believe we're going to do kind of a modified pot roast. We're going to maybe do some salmon. We're going to have a list, and I don't know where it's at. So we got a couple of different things that we're going to be doing this week. Trying to keep life as normal as possible, especially if you have kids. Again, trying to make life normal for them until whatever we're going through, until this passes. So keep that in mind, family members, things like that, that it is good to keep some normalcy. It's good to keep silly things like bedtimes. It's good to keep some of those sort of things in place. Things are a bit chaotic, and especially for younger minds, it's hard to grasp all of those, you know, abstract ideas that we're kind of struggling with right now in relation to society. And I wonder if you guys can keep seeing all of these messages that my family is sending back and forth to each other. Okay. Hot dogs, veggie dogs, potatoes, vinaigrette, and our white sub rolls. I like the hoagie rolls. Those actually help out with this quite a bit because you're putting a lot of stuff into it. So we'll get out the other things that my family likes on these in addition. Oh, and I did have to venture out to the grocery store today. I did have a mask on, but we didn't use an N95 mask, so that those are reserved for my wife in case she needs them and is called to the front lines. So we got a baking dishes when I was there, because it's guaranteed that the bananas that we got are going to go brown, and instead of throwing them away, banana bread. So you will not see me baking, but I just am giving you the idea in case you have 6 bananas that you bought and nobody has touched them in a week. So what do we like to have on ours? We're going to go with some whole grain mustard. Again, any type of mustard that you want, but hot dogs without mustard is, well, that's just not being a human being at this point, because everybody in the world eats hot dogs and mustard. We'll have a different one set out. We've got some ketchup, and I believe, if I remember correctly, if I can find it, mayonnaise is good on these as well. So, mayo, ketchup. I grabbed the good old Heinz yellow mustard in case somebody wants that, because I know that the whole grain mustard has a bit more of a bite to it. So I prefer those, but that's okay. Okay, potatoes. I need to get my potato tester. It probably needs to go for a couple more minutes. The waters for the hot dog are starting to boil, and this is all going to go pretty quickly. So let's see, what do these say? No artificial colors, that's good. And no byproducts. So I guess there will be no turkey beaks in these. Okay. And then these were the veggie dogs that we got. They're Light Life. It's just a plant-based hot dog for my daughter and I. Some people have a difficult time with soy. So if you're looking for stuff, you might look on the back at the ingredients and make sure that there's no soy in them if you have a hard time with soy. So, unfortunately, not everybody in my household can eat soy hot dogs. So my guess is I usually check with them how many they want first, but I have an idea tonight. So I'm going to make 4 hot dogs, and or turkey dogs, and I'm going to make 4 hot dogs. So, we'll get these going. Don't want to put them in yet. Veggie dogs, just pay attention, because if you put them in too early and they start cooking and all of a sudden you just have mush. They just need to boil for about a minute and you take them off. I think hot dogs are about the same thing. There's no real magic there. I mean, heck, the fact that 4-year-olds eat hot dogs that haven't been cooked at all, I don't think you're going to, end up in the hospital or anything from eating a hot dog that's not cooked completely. Or that's not cooked at all. Okay, we need a pan for got that. Okay, we need some butter for our mashers. And we're going to use salted butter tonight, because salted butter is much better than unsalted butter in mashers. So we're going to get those. So hopefully everybody that is now working from home, your WebEx or Zoom conference calls that you have to be on aren't utterly ridiculous at this point. I'm loving watching some of the stuff that I'm seeing and how some people are finding this new technology. And my heart really goes out to older college professors who are now having to do something that they've literally never done in their life, and are like old dogs who are being taught a new trick. It is quite comical. But more power to you guys. I think there was one I saw that somebody saw their professor on Twitch and had a head gaming set on and was drinking a Corona beer. Speaking of which, they stopped making Corona beer right now because they shut down a factory in Mexico. I thought that was amazing. I didn't realize that. Okay, let me go test out. You guys can watch water boil and make sure the vegetables don't do anything crazy. I'm going to go see from the potato tester if they're done. Okay, the official potato tester, which happens to be my 11-year-old daughter, said that they were perfect and good. I'll now go give a piece to my wife so she can taste it. Oh, no, here you go. Nope, she just declined it because she didn't want it regular baked. She thought it was already mashed and good to go. So, hooey on her. Okay, they're good to go. Dun 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 dun, got my pot holders back. One which was from our friends in Arizona because they just thought this was the funniest pot holder in the world. And one because you got to keep tradition alive, and this was one that belonged to my grandmother, and when she passed away, it was one in her kitchen that I loved, so it now is in my kitchen. So it's okay to be sentimental, it's okay to keep silly things around. So, we're going to do our potatoes, drain off the water, get them back in here, and not save the reserve water because you use milk. And I found that out last week when I told you guys. So, like I said, I don't normally make the mashers in our house. Okay, so we got potatoes. We got a stick of butter. Is that enough? Is a stick of butter good? It is salted. Oh, plus salt. Okay. So we're going to get these in here. We're going to let that melt a little bit. While we're letting that do that, we are going to put our turkey dogs into one pan and let them start cooking. And we're going to put our veggie dogs into another pan, let them start cooking. We'll go for about a minute or so. And then, not 3 minutes, jeez. Okay. So, we'll get our mashers. Okay, I'm going to let that butter melt just a little bit. Or you know what, let me do this. Let me wash my hands since I just picked up a turkey dog. Gross. Okay. So, let me slice this butter up really quick. That'll actually make our life a little easier here rather than a big huge chunk of butter that's just silliness. So just kind of slice this out. If you think ahead, you can like pull it out so that it's soft and not hard because it just came out of the refrigerator. Okay, so our timer's going off now. So what we're going to do now is first let's get this butter in here and let it start melting. Okay, so let's turn our timer off because it's super annoying. Okay, our hot dogs now, they've boiled for a minute, so now we're just going to pull them off to the side. Let them stay in the hot water, take them off of the boiling water. And let's go back to our potatoes. Mash them, stir them, stew them in a, I don't know what that is. But for those of you who are Lord of the Ring fans, potatoes are everything. And I don't remember how it goes, so I'm not even going to try. Okay. Get our butter melted in here nicely. Got potatoes. Okay. That's good there. So, what we need next, a little bit of milk. So we head over here. And let's see if this, ooh, now they're starting to look like mashed potatoes. Okay. These want to be nice and creamy because you're going to be slathering these across the top of your dog when it's done. Okay, I was told we definitely need salt. So again, you know the salt requirements of your family. So to taste, add a little bit of salt. And I'm going to put just a splash more of milk in there to make those a little more creamy. Because you're going to be like smothering these along the road on your potato. Okay. Okay, let me get the other tester, which is now my wife. She's the one that tests the mashers. So let me go check with her on these. I have arrived. She said they were perfect. Okay, so I'll make mine first. We'll put this together so you can see what it is that we are eating. And tonight we are going to use the owl plate. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one of our hoagie rolls. You can use regular hot dog buns, but as you're going to see, you might want just a little bit more room to put stuff in. So cut your opening in here, just don't cut it all the way through so that you can actually hold stuff in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of separate this a little bit. We're going to get this right here. Boom. Just like an everyday normal hot dog. That's all that we're doing, except for we're going Cachorro Quente because Brazil came up with a better way to do it. We're going to put our dog there. We are going to take our vinaigrette. We're going to put a nice big helping of vinaigrette on there. So again, this is the onions and the bell peppers, and this is absolutely delicious tasting, very fresh. Okay? Now is when you would put in whatever the rest of your goodies are, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, whatever you normally would have on your hot dog. So I'm going to do, this thing's dangerous. So I'm going to use mustard because at the end of the day, that's all that I want on my Cachorro Quente. So, we're going to take our mustard, we're going to slather this on here. I like it on both sides just so that it's equal because I don't like just getting flavors coming from one direction. So, we're going to get those there. And now, we're going to take our mashers. And let's trade these. You're going to take your mashed potatoes. And you're literally just going to fill this in. I like to just get everything covered up and slathered up in mashed potatoes. So, that's what it's going to look like. So you got your hoagie roll, you got your dog, you got the vinaigrette, you have whatever dressings you want on it. And you're going to load it up with potatoes. And in our case tonight, because it's a really simple night, we are going to use, dun 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 dun, whichever ones I grab out, we're going to have cheddar and sour cream potatoes with these. So, tonight's plate, once it's all said and done, looks like this. So I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. Again, you can tinker with the filling. The vinaigrette, you could put, like I said, there's a whole slew of things that you can put on there. So hopefully you enjoy those, and peace.